Hello, and welcome to yet another important edition of your program on Catholic Television of Nigeria, Spotlight. Spotlight is a program where we discuss issues on economics, religion, social standing of our society, and issues that call to call to mind how we should live as people of God and as good citizens of our country, Nigeria. Today, our focus is going to be on a book titled Faith in Flux, Catholicism and the Dynamics of Witnessing in Today's Nigeria. That's the title of the book we are going to be looking at today. And it was authored by our own Reverend Father Boniface Neibo, a distinguished priest of the Abuja Archdiocese. He is also the Deputy Director of the Cardinal Neibo Foundation for Peace, COFP, and then he is also the Secretary General of CANEP. CANEP is Cardinal Neibo Foundation African Network of Peace Builders, that is CANEP. So today we are going to be looking at this. In the next 30 minutes, we are going to be looking at how this book will be helping our society, how this book will be promoting the faith in the Catholic Church, and how this book will improve in the intellectual ability of our society today. My name is Tony Abba. Welcome to the program. Padre, we are looking at this very important book. First and foremost, the name, Faith in Flux, meaning that the faith, there's a changing time. Flux means change, and then the faith is still static, the way it is. Now, tell us briefly about the book, Faith in Flux.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Tony, and thank you, our dear viewers, for having me and for being on Spotlight with you. Fundamentally, the first time I basically came across the word flux was during my philosophical studies, courtesy of Heraclitus. Meaning that the world around us is constantly changing, and but the journey of this book is a little above 3 years, or roughly about 3 years now. And it was motivated after I finished my seminary formation. Fundamentally, my theological thesis project was bordered on witnessing to the new evangelization in the digital space, with focus on Matthew's Gospel, chapter 28, verse 19, where Jesus says, "Go therefore and baptize all nations in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit." Now, with the reality around us, definitely faith in flux can be likened to the reality of a notion that will constantly continue to move against the wave, yet it remains the ocean and unchanging. And, the subset of this, the title of this book says Catholicism and the Dynamics of Witnessing in Today's Nigeria. So the context of writing is my own country, Nigeria, but fundamentally the presence of the Catholic faith. And the focus is the resilience of the Catholic faith, even in the midst of different odds and the changing reality that she has found herself. Beginning from the journey of Christianity into Nigeria, then Catholicism, which meets our own original culture and traditional African religion, for which we are deeply rooted, because whether I would like it or not, this is a foreign religion brought to us. But in the midst of all this, it is thriving against all odds. Then we journey through it, and the role that each and every one of us, clergy and lay of different hierarchies of the church, have got to play in order that we keep it thriving. Now, in it, we identified definitely the dangers and what we need to also know in order to deal with this. So, basically, Faith in Flux recognizes the reality of the fact that the Catholic faith in Nigeria is resilient and it is thriving, but there is more to be done because the challenges are daunting, and more witnessing and authentic witnessing is needed.
Okay, now, this book, you don't just wake up one day and start writing. What is the motivation behind this book at this time?
Yes, thank you very much, Tony. Fundamentally, the motivation is that it has been a burden in my heart that The times are no longer the same. For me, I feel there is a gradual degradation of the level of commitment fundamentally to catechesis, to teaching the Catholic faith. Number two, I still feel, yes, there is a Catholic presence in the digital space, but I still feel deep down within me that the authorities can do more than we are doing. And every one of us, clergy and lay, if you have an estimate of our population, over 90% of us are in the digital space. But we see less of our activities being promoted there. And for the fact that the modern Areopagus, when I say Areopagus, I mean the modern pulpit, is the digital space. How much of it are we employing to propagate? Because you just need to flip your phone and you see thousands of things being made available there. So there is therefore a call, and motivated even more by the call to do for all and sundry, okay, men and women of goodwill, especially Catholics, who are the direct, audience of this book, to please do more in this space, because our fathers and grandfathers, their times have gone. And whether we like it or not, these times will be unfolding. The internet has come to stay. We either adapt and employ its use positively in order to leverage on, that's the word, leverage on its, abundance of opportunities that are there. And even more, let the faith not die in my hand and in your hand.
Definitely the faith will not die in our hands as we keep pushing and praying that God will help us. In your own assessments, what does this book hope to achieve? As in the general, what it hopes to achieve in this today's world?
Okay.
Apart from the promotion of faith, what other things can we say this book is coming out to achieve at this time?
Yes, at this time of our history as a country, and of course the journey of the Catholic faith, fundamentally, just like you have mentioned, apart from promoting the faith, it is setting out to achieve and invite all to a greater level of engagement. Engage with the Catholic faith. Secondly, authentic witnessing through catechesis. You only need to walk to some of our parishes and you discover that a lot of our children don't know the basics in catechism. Yes, many of us were taught in our local language. As an Igala man, I learned catechism in Igala, you understand. But finding ourselves in the times that we are now and the tools that we have now, we can actually employ them to, make the catechism simpler, even in cartoon forms, in order to reach out and keep, teaching it. And there are also invitations to parents to regulate the use of the gadgets of social media, and also encourage children to follow Catholic channels and Catholic programs in homes and all of that. But most importantly, this book sets out to call all and sundry, and all hands have to be on deck to foster, promote, teach, and witness to the Catholic faith. Yeah.
In some parts of the book, in some chapters, you talked about Christian and political participation. What necessitated that aspect? Does it mean that we have not been participating enough, or that we have not actually lived out our faith in our political positions?
Thank you, exactly. I'm going to take it up from there. One thing is to participate in something. Another thing is to ideally participate in it by the values you uphold. Fundamentally, the church encourages all of us to be involved, but the laity to be actively involved. The clergy passively, but the laity active participants in the political narratives of countries. Nigeria, for instance, yes, we have a lot of our Catholic politicians out there, Christian politicians on a broader scale, then narrowly too, Catholic politicians out there. The motto of the laity says, salt of the earth and what?
Light of the world.
And light of the world. Fundamentally, that is taken from Matthew's Gospel, but even more, Lumen Gentium, a Second Vatican document, reminds us again that you are the light. That is the opening sentence in the first document, the first paragraph of that document says, you are the light of the world. Wow. Inviting us that we have to go to the world to saturate it and dispel the darkness. And this darkness is hovering all around. From the civil into the religious to the political into the economic, just name it. So the fundamental question is, how much of engagements are our politicians having with the ideals of the gospel? It is not enough to come to church, sit down in church, then you go back to do whatever you want. It is an act of ingratitude to God for the gift of his word to us. So we have a task to live it out in our daily lives. And in the spaces we have found ourselves, let it saturate. Then to generality of the public, it is not enough to cry of bad governance, this is not going well. What is your contribution to it? It is very important that you do something about it. You know, Plato reminds us in his Republic, from the philosophical background, the price you will have to pay as an enlightened man for being indifferent to deciding who governs you is that you be governed by your inferiors. I'm paraphrasing that quotation. You understand? So it means that Christians sitting on the fence, not coming out to carry out political participation like voting, carrying out basic civic responsibilities. They have no right to lament. Because as a country, we are where we are, because of the death of good governance, terrible governance system. Then, this country is in need of structural reform. From the judiciary through to the executive and the legislature, then federal, state into the local and world level of governance, whatever level of leadership that we have got, there is need for structural reform. But who is going to do this when a lot of persons sit on the fence? So let all hands be on deck. Only then can we collectively salvage. That is to say that witnessing to the faith demands taking a step of being an active participant in the polity of your nation. In our case, Nigeria.
Yes, we'll just take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. I know the Catholic social teaching also give us the ability to do all those things that you mentioned.
Which are heavily referenced in this book.
Whether we are doing it or not is a story for another day.
That's another thing. Engagements. Thank you.
Dear viewers, the program is Spotlight on Catholic Television of Nigeria. We've been looking at the book Faith in Flux, and we have been looking at issues surrounding our nation, our faith, and how to make it better. Please don't go away. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, the program is Spotlight on Catholic Television of Nigeria. And today we are looking at Faith in Flux, Catholicism, and the Dynamics of Witnessing in Today's Nigeria. It's a book written by our own dear Reverend Father Boniface, Neibo. Before we went on break, we were looking at some of the aspects of the Catholic social teaching which actually you have talked about. How do you think Catholic politicians can leverage on this social teaching and make a difference for the common good in their various positions?
Fundamentally, I want to, before I go to Catholic politicians and even politicians generally, let me begin from the church. Let the church also take it upon herself to organize fora for workshop, symposium, and keep on the catechesis and the teachings on the demands of the social gospel. And in such fora, we cannot say we invite Catholic politicians, like the Association of Catholic Politicians of Nigeria, for instance. That should be encouraged and ongoing. It is from there that a lot of them may not know And what somebody does not really know, you may want to excuse them, although ignorance is not excusable anyway. But at the same time, to be fair, let the church do her part and be vindicated, because we are called to evangelize, and evangelization demands catechesis as well, and witnessing with lives and presence and times through our faith. Now to the politicians, it is now a greater challenge to each and every one of us out there, of our politicians and leaders out there, to live out the values of the religion. Let me speak generally first, because the religion, of course, I work with the foundation that speaks more about the role of religion in national, politics, development, engagement, policy formulation as well. So I'm not sure that even Islam, our sister religion, teaches corruption as a value in any way. So generally, the values of religion are fundamentally for the integral development of the human person and social welfare. Respect for life and the common good is extolled by our faith. Then narrowing it out to our own Catholic politicians, it will be a disaster, and any politician is not doing his best to live out what he professes by the values of his faith, especially Catholic politicians, is a great disappointment. But the struggle is in the witnessing, not just in carrying microphones during campaigns and possibly even lying to Nigerians, then coming to the office and you are far from what you say you do for the people. Let the people see the faith in action, so that when we have seen, how some Catholic politicians have messed up the faith. They have been given offices here. I'll spare naming, but we can only look at our newspapers and open at the pages of our news articles and see that, oh, this is not nice. It's an embarrassment to the faith. So more has to be done in this regard.
Okay, now, if we look at this book, I don't want us to digress. Let's look at this book. There's a chapter you talked about the Catholic priest and the social justice. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, thank you very much. And that should be about the fourth chapter of this wonderful text. In summary, the priest is a pastor. He will always be out for the people. You understand? So the chapter encourages more that the priest must never forget the responsibility that he has got as a voice that must never be silent. So every priest is a replication of Prophet Amos, who is a prophet for social justice. He was never quiet against the evils of his generation. So the priest has to be seen to speak against evil and work against such evil, but desiring the conversion of the perpetrators, not their destruction anyway, because everyone has got to be saved as well. We don't want anyone to be lost rather, but we want all to be saved. But in doing this, there is no need to keep silent or quiet on the social ills of our time. So the priest is at the center, therefore, of the work of promoting social justice. And this is at every level, from the national, international, down to outstation level. Then when the people see the priest advocating for all of this and living it out himself, come on, then the priest is smelling like the sheep, so that they also follow as he leads. Because we are great influencers. Just by the way we come out alone, there's a lot to say about the priest. And don't forget, the priest will always be in the spotlight. Yes, just like the name of your program, rightly called. But we hope to continue to strive to be positively in the spotlight in what we are called to do after our Master, Jesus himself.
How can this book also help the young people? Because we've been talking about, we are looking at the future, right? And the future of the church is is with the youth.
Yeah.
How can this book help the young person? Is there a chapter, or do you address issues for the youth here in this book?
Yes. Very, very importantly, the digital age and the call to authentic witnessing, just after the fourth chapter I had just spoken of, is where I have greater engagements on the need for the church to utilize, the youth population. We are more on the social media. That space, while we must work against addiction, we must also encourage time management. It's an act of discipline for anyone to be able to manage his time and stay productive. Personal discipline is key. A lot of our youths are on social media for different reasons. In an age of content creation, the craze for monetization now is driving a lot of stuff. Somebody goes naked, or somebody once made a joke, God, I beg, don't give me female picking. And I'm like, what is wrong with having a female child? But the person has seen a content where, a teenager of 16, 17, 18, 19, or just on bra and some bikinis and just want to just create content. And, the craze is such that those are the things that trend. Yeah. But that shouldn't be a discouragement. The church needs to do more to engage the youths of our churches encourage them, give incentives, what motivates them to engage the gospel in the social media space. There is need for greater level of collaboration because when one wants to go far, go with others. Yeah. Are you getting me? Yeah. It is only when you say you want to, but if you want to say you are determined on going fast, you want to go alone. Yes. We're interested in going far as a church. So we are called to collaborate. So let us have youth networks that synergizes, that collaborates. Let parishes, meet together, organize something that promotes youths. And whatever you do, register it on the media space. Let us take Jesus to that space. He has given us the blessings of technology. Remember, the motivation of a lot of them, personally, my motivation to the media space, like I told, my classmates worked with you here, Father Victor Akegosi. My theology project was, like I quoted at the beginning of this, was witnessing to the new evangelization in the digital space. So for me, I'm simply living out what I've written. But many people may not understand, it's not about anything. But let's not be motivated by the gains. Let us be motivated by the values and witnessing that we put in that space. So this is where the youth are really encouraged to do more. And I made reference earlier that our fathers and grandfathers have done their bit. Yeah. What happens to the faith in our hands is up to us.
Invariably, this book hopes to help the young people to evangelize through the media, especially the social media.
Yes.
And then counter the wrong values with the
that are being instilled, that are trending faster.
Okay, now let's look at this aspect of culture, because I know this book also covered some aspect of culture and the Catholic Church. Where do we have the meeting point, and what is the point of divergence?
Yeah, whether we like it or not, Christianity met us. Yes, we're a traditional people, we're a cultural people. And in the opening chapter, I record a personal experience. The Egbe festival is a festival in my local culture. I'm an Igala. Egbe is a festival peculiar to the people of Igume. To tell you how valuable it was, that I didn't even know what we were doing that time. But to tell you how serious it was, Igume to Anigba, where I was raised up, you will have to trek for not to exaggerate, more than 30 minutes. Yeah, more than 30 minutes. Let me put it at that. But we will leave my house that time and trek to go and witness the Egbe festival. I was only close to the shrine once. Are you getting me? What did I witness? Beautiful cultural display, masquerades here and there. The only disgusting thing I can tell you I saw that time was the way they held a chicken. Pull the neck. No, that was disgusting. That was cruel for me. It didn't go that well with me at all. Until, growing up, went to the minor seminary. Of course, the church began refining. I am privileged today becoming a priest. Then, major seminary, exposure to a lot of things. Then, the concept of inculturation, I encountered it. I say, some of these funny things in cultures can actually meet something beautiful and be refined. Take away what is wrong, embrace what is good. So there is a meeting point of the African culture and our Catholic faith. And that is the fact that the gospel comes to saturate in order to purify. So our cultures have got to be purified. Why do we have to strangle and kill in the first place? There were times, if you give birth to twins, it was taboo.
Yes.
But those are precious gifts from God. Today, we are looking for children. Many homes are also looking for children. But there were times we were killing them. So in the midst of all this, that is why it is the good news. The gospel is the good news that comes to give life, the good news that comes to saturate, the good news that comes to reborn or give rebirth to what is existing that may be displacing and all of that. So that's a very beautiful meeting point of the church and our cultures. So there is a lot,
this book, then in this a non-reading society, how do you intend to promote the reading culture with this?
Yeah, very good, very good. Now, fundamentally, Faith in Flux, which you are holding in your hands, has 8 chapters. And it was about 230 something pages earlier. But reading, editing, so far so good, it's been reduced to 190 something pages in the final print that is out and will be publicly out to dioceses and parishes in Nigeria and even beyond. I like the question that you asked. Let's say if you want to hide something from an African, say maybe put it for inside book.
Put it in a book.
But I want to tell every African listening to me, and Nigerians in particular, there are treasures here that you will engage only when you flip the pages of this book. And like the Secretary General, Very Reverend Father Zachariah Sanjumi, in the foreword to the book, wrote something. This is one book that every Catholic will not be able to ignore when you open from the first page to the last page. So, not to encourage mediocrity or laziness, there are beautiful reviews going on this work already. They are going to be available. But that shouldn't be enough for those who want to be feeling lazy not to read. Find time. It only take, if you are a fast reader, it will just take you 2 nights, 3 nights, and you're done with this. Or just convenient space in the midst of all of these distractions. Yeah. So it's a book to engage with. And I really, we will always encourage that. The same team, Professor Omonokwa, Reverend Father Professor Omonokwa, who gave the insights to, and the reviews we got from outside the country and all of that. Beautiful.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll be winding down now the conversation. I want you to tell us what will be your final words to our audience, especially your event that's coming up on Saturday. What will be your final words on this book and your event?
Okay, thank you very much. And my final word will be, take responsibility for this faith. It will matter most what happens and what legacy, what is your contribution to the faith. Let this book be a catalyst to igniting your passion not to take anything around and the Catholic faith for granted. We have to take responsibility for it. And finally, I'm inviting all of us, those who can make it, come and support us. Remember, I've expressed an intention here that 100% from the proceeds of this book goes to St. Monica's Catholic Church. Somebody once asked me, a young priest at a time where everybody is pursuing money, I say, pack everything I give to it. I say, yes. I have an infant church that is in dire need of her needs, which we are doing our best. So support us and come help us. Let us build the faith together. So it is my way of living out what I have proclaimed here. Let it be localized somewhere that we all can see, and your contributions are welcome. And these books are also going to all the dioceses of Nigeria. We're going to have distributors there, and all Catholic institutions. Of course, masquerade where they go out, go dance. Now, house they begin from.
Yes.
So Abuja Archdiocese, with the blessings of the Archbishop, we'll be having this book in all our parishes and institutions as well. So thank you once again for having me, and thank you, dear listeners.
So we can get this book on
yes, let's not forget
bookshop. Where can we find it?
Yes,
when it eventually comes out.
Yes, beyond 17th now. Walk into your parish bookshops, you get them, or sacramental shops where you go to buy sacramentals. You will get them. Just ask of Faith in Flux. That's all. Then lest I forget, wherever you are, this age, you see why we say leverage on technology.
Yes.
This book is already selling on Amazon and Seller. So, and you can pay in any currency of your choice amongst these 4, 4 or 3, of course, our beautiful Nigerian naira, no matter the turbulence we are facing, it is still a beautiful currency. Then, of course, the USD and the GBP, that is Great Britain pounds, and of course, euro too. Those are the 4 major currencies that is listed, both on Amazon and Seller.
So what's the cover price for it?
Okay, fine. The soft copy is roughly about 3,000 naira.
Okay.
But
in USD, it's about...
in USD, we'll put it at $5 because of the charges.
Okay.
Okay. We'll put it about $5. So basically, but this printed copy is 5,000 naira. Please, we're building church. Support us.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate your time, and then congratulations on this piece.
Thank you.
We will do our best to promote it as no matter the little we can. We will do our best to do that and see that this beautiful work is promoted. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
God bless you.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, this is where we are going to be dropping the anchor on today's edition of the program Spotlight on Catholic Television of Nigeria. And we've been looking at this very beautiful book, Faith in Flux, Catholicism and the Dynamics of Witnessing in Today's Nigeria, written by Reverend Father Boniface, Neibo, who is a Catholic priest of the Abuja Archdiocese and the Deputy Director of the Cardinal Naikom Foundation for Peace, COFP, and also the Secretary General of COFP Network, or African Network of Peace Builders, CANEP. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
We hope to be at your event on Saturday. God
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, this is where we say goodbye on today's program. Please stay tuned to other programs on Catholic Television of Nigeria. My name is Tony Abba. Bye for now.